Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. Making 20 videos in 30 days. 20 in 30 days, a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort. So it goes a long way if just to hit the subscribe, hit the auto notifications. So it helps a lot. Appreciate you. Let's get into it. But we're going to be ranking chronically online takes. And let me explain the ranking system. Top is touch grass, that you need to touch grass, and then D is like it's still chronically online, but at the same time, they're still kind of understandable. Like you wouldn't see this take in real life, but you understand why it's being made online. And then so the top tier is that they need to definitely get themselves out of the house if you're making up this take. All right, let's get into it. First is going to be what the question: what do you bring to the table? That question is going to be A tier. It's almost touch grass. It's pretty much up there. But this is not something you ask people in real life. I feel like this is one of those, there are better ways to have that conversation than asking someone, what do you bring to the table? I think that's an online conversation, not something you have in real life. So that goes all the way up there in the A tier. Next. The next take we're going to have is from Fresh and Fit. That if your girlfriend has Instagram, she's cheating. That is go touch grass. That is all the way, that's all the way up there. I think some people aren't living in reality, and that's one of those takes. And also, if we're honest, that's very toxic and very controlling. If you actually living with that in real life, that's what you're in a very toxic relationship. If it's dictating, you're not allowed to have social media, and that's how we connect in today's society. All right, that would be that. The next chronically online take is when people say, saying you want a healthy baby is very ableist. This one we're gonna put into a B tier. Anyone who genuinely believes this does need to touch grass, but at the same time, it doesn't go all the way up there because there are genuinely people who are having disabilities, and when you say, oh, I don't want my child to be like you, I guess there's kind of like an energy in there that you might not like. But at the same time, you should still be allowed to say you want a healthy baby. That's just a thing, but I get why people have come up with that take. So we'll move on to the next one. Wanting to be skinny is fatphobia. That one is going to get an A tier. That one's going to get an A tier. It's getting an A tier, not all the way touch grass, because in essence it's kind of true. You want to be skinny is by default meaning you don't want to be fat. But at the same time, I don't get why there's a negative connotation being towards that. On my classes, by saying I want to be rich, that makes no sense to me. I think they're trying to put a negative connotation on trying to lose weight for whatever reason, makes no sense to me. So we're gonna put that on A tier, almost touch grass, but not all the way there.
And we mentioned Adele earlier, and in her career, she was the target of fat shaming like it was nobody's business. Now she's being targeted by some for her weight loss.
But at the end of the day, she's a human, an individual, and she gets to make choices about how, what she wants to do with our body. But overall, I think if we just stick to Jonah Hill's advice of not commenting on other people's bodies, that's going to lead us in the right direction.
The next one is that every relationship with an age gap is predatory. We're going to put that in the D tier. I think that take is kind of disrespectful to a lot of people's relationships, especially if there's an age gap but they met as adults. I think we have the right to choose who they want to love, but at the same time, it's only D tier because some of these relationships tend to be predatory. Now, I won't say all of them. I think when people try to group all of them into something, I don't believe that. But there are some. So at the same time, I get why it's there, but it's still a chronically online take. We're gonna put it in the D tier. Next, you are not allowed to dress certain ways because if you're dressed in certain ways, you're queerbaiting. Like fashion is queerbait. That is gonna go all the way in the A tier. People can express themselves however they want. I don't get why people, all because you wear a pearl necklace does not mean you're queerbaiting. I think the issue is with the people implying that themselves, not with the person who's wearing it. That's just my take on that. All right, next. Next, we're gonna do a lack of knowledge can claim appropriation. Like people who aren't well cultured trying to claim something as cultural appropriation. That is gonna be a B tier. I think that for some people in the world, they don't realize that certain customs or certain body parts aren't specific to a specific group. Like I told you, afros aren't just with black people. So you'll see someone with an afro, oh, you're trying to culturally appropriate. It's not exclusive. I think it's hilarious when people get called out on it. I think it's only a B tier because some people do be doing it. Some people do be race baiting. So I'm giving it a B tier, but it's hilarious when people get called out and they're completely wrong. Next, we're going to do trigger warnings or non-trigger warning things. We're going to put that in the D tier. Because I think at the end of the day, they're trying to be courteous. They're trying to be nice. But at the same time, we don't need a trigger warning all because you had an argument that you want to talk about it. Or you fell and you're like, oh, trigger warning, I fell. It might be traumatizing. Like, bro, we don't need a trigger warning on everything. But I get it. They're trying to be courteous. So I decided at the same time, we're going to leave it as a D. Next one, we're going to have skin tone defines a person's blackness. That one we're going to put all the way in the B tier. I think that one is kind of wild, kind of disrespectful towards them. But at the same time, there are some people that are pushing that. Oh, according to my 23andMe, I'm 13% black, bro. You're not. We all know you're not. But at the same time, there are people, all because their light skin does not determine how black they are. Two fully black people can have a light skin child. So I don't like the notion that we're defined by your blackness, by your skin tone. All right, next is when chosen subcultures claim cultural appropriation. Like when a nerdy person said, "Oh, you can't use waifu," or vegans, "Oh, you can't eat tofu," is cultural appropriation of my thing. That is very touch grass. That is very touch grass. Like, bro, you need to get out more. So we're gonna put that all the way in touch grass. Next, we're gonna do the term "pick me." This one might be controversial to some people, but I think that the term "pick me" is very, very toxic. I think I'm gonna have to put that all the way in the A tier. Some people are naturally tomboy. Some people naturally don't have different perspective. I think that "pick me" has been used as a way to group think people. That if you don't have the same view as everyone around, you're considered a pick me. I think that it's kind of become toxic, and it's become manipulative in a way to control people, which I think is very toxic. I tell you, people can have different opinions without being pick me. They're not trying to get chosen. They might just have a different perspective. All right, next thing, if you are dating someone who identifies as non-binary, you are gay. So I'm gonna put this one all the way up in A tier. This woman who identifies as he, him, but presents herself as a woman. I think that is, and you're trying to claim that they're gay from that. That's very touch grassy. Like, that's almost all the way up there. But I only left it as an A because I feel like if the guy chooses to label himself that way out of respect for the person that they're with, I think that's kind of like a good way to be nice, a good way to show that you understand what they're going through. It can be a way if the person themselves claims that on themselves to make them more comfortable, but to claim on other people is kind of very touch grassy, bro. Leave the internet. All right, next one is the question on the internet: would you have $500K or dinner with Jay-Z? If you give up significant amount of money to go have dinner with a celebrity, you need a lot of help. I'm only going to leave it as a B tier because there's reasoning behind that. So some people are like, oh, they might try to give me knowledge, but no, you shouldn't. It's a very online take, but at the same time, I understand how some people might try to logic their way out of a lot of money. Next, the term mid and hear me out. I think the term mid and hear me out are very A tier. I think it is very toxic. I think that the term mid is basically a bunch of guys trying to downgrade women they can never get with. So mid was very toxic, but the hear me out thing, I think one of these days someone is gonna have to have like a social internet intervention about this. Whenever anyone is non-orthodoxly like handsome or good looking or beautiful in any way, all their comment sections are hear me out, saying that I shouldn't want to have sex with you, but I will anyways. And I feel like it's so degrading. If it's one comment, it's fine. But when every comment on every video is that, it's almost dehumanizing. And I feel like so many people, that's their entire comment section in every video they ever make. I think that at some point someone's going to need to step up and address that issue. But next one is trivializing real forms of abuse to everyday struggles. I think someone needs to hear this. Not every argument is a form of abuse. Not every time someone disagrees with you are they gaslighting you. The more you use it inappropriately, the more it loses its value as a term. At this point, love bombing is basically someone likes you too much. That is basically, you've lost the meaning of it. So I think at some point, someone needs to hear, use the terms correctly. Because at the end of the day, there's going to be some people that are going to be going through it. You don't want them to, when they come up to people, to be like, oh, you're just like everyone else, when in reality that you're going through something serious. So I think that we need to stop trivializing the meaning of some words. It's not all the way in touch grass. I'm only putting it as C because some people are being gaslit. Some people are going through abuse. So at the same time, you can't just say the entire concept is too out of line because some people are going through it. The next one, I'm going to catch a lot of slack for this one. White women can wear box braids. this one, I get why it's a genuine issue, and I get why there's real struggle between that.
A lot of that has to do with, in our contemporary context, of why we see there being kind of real consequences for African American women who wear their hair in braids or wear their hair in locks or decide to do any other style that does not conform to a Eurocentric standard of beauty.
So I'm gonna give that a D tier, but it's chronically online, because in real life, the majority of people don't care. In real life, the majority of y'all don't care. I be every day I be in the hood, and I be seeing like nobody cares. I think this is like one of those chronically online take, but in reality, no one really cares in person. Next chronically online take is the when they say all men are evil, that and they use the example like, oh, if one chocolate is poisoned, then would you eat any of them? That take is definitely going to get a C tier. I think there is truth to the patriarchy being beneficial to men, but at the same time, I think that using that narrative, that's how you see the rise of guys like Andrew Tate or the Fresh and Fit podcast and how they grow popularity, because you push a label of all men on there and they come out with counters like men's lives are hard, and they're like, oh, my life is hard, why don't I go with them? So I think that putting that all men thing kind of like is counterproductive to the movement. All right, next we're going to do the Oppression Olympics. Oppression Olympics gets A tier. Oppression Olympics is like, abortion is worse than slavery. Why are you comparing struggles? What benefit do you get from comparing struggles? Like, I don't get it about that. Do you get a cookie for more struggles? Like, I don't get why people even bother going in that route. That's some touch grass stuff. All right, but at the same time, I don't think it's all the way to the top. Next. The next one is the question, would you date me if I was a worm? That one is going to get a C tier. A lot of people are willing to ruin perfectly happy relationships just because of TikTok trends, and it makes no sense to me. Like, I feel like you either want me to lie to you or you want me to tell the truth and make you upset. I don't get why people even bother while using TikTok to ruin perfectly happy relationships. All right, next. The next take is to stop dressing for the male gaze. We're gonna put that on D tier. The idea of the male gaze is a real thing. It's about the depiction of women in the movies, especially in the earlier years, how they weren't giving their own autonomy in the movies. So I think that concept itself is very real. But at the same time, how it's used on TikTok, on the other hand, is very not real and is very much pushing and demeaning women itself, saying that the only reason why a woman would have wanted to dress sexy in the first place was for a man, and that to dress for a woman you have to dress a certain way. I think that's very demeaning of women in itself. All right, next is gonna be not wanting to date a trans person is transphobic. That is going to be B tier. I think people should be outside person. So that's a very touch grass moment. But at the same time, on the other end, people who don't want to date them take it too far. At least some individuals take it too far. Some become abusive when they find out. So I think there's some justification for trying to want to push a narrative that everybody should be okay with dating them. But at the same time, I think that people are allowed to like what they like, and you can't cancel someone into dating anyone. That's just my take on that.
You should only be doing things that you're comfortable with. There's this whole idea that trans people are forcing people to have sex with them and telling them that they're transphobic if they don't want to do that. But yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, if you don't want to engage intimately with that kind of thing, then you shouldn't feel the need to. It's not rude. It only becomes rude when you tell somebody that, like, ugh, I'd never do that. That's disgusting. That's rude.
Next. And the last one is By Wife Energy or Written by a Female. That one is gonna get a D tier. Let's make it C tier. I think the bar on that is so low. Oh, he's okay with me calling myself bi wife energy. Oh, he supports me in something I like. The bar is so low for that. But at the end of the day, you're just being supportive. So I get why it's still a positive thing, even though I feel like it's a online thing that with extremely low bars. Well, I think that's all the takes we have for this video. If you have other chronically online takes, leave them in the comment section. Maybe we'll rate them. Or which of these do you feel is the most chronically online? Leave it in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Alright. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit all the social medias. We made a bunch of them just for the channel. Thank you. Alright. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the post notifications. Thank you for your time. Hope you enjoy. Hope you come back. Deuces. Bye.